In the U.S., 30% of forested areas are now gone, and more than 2/3 of the U.S. forests have been leveled at least once. The effects of deforestation are not only a hazard to the environment, but also cost trillions each year during the process. Deforestation has limited habitat for millions of species. In fact, 80% of Earth's species and plant life are now gone, live in forested areas that have been affected. The canopy of trees keep the forest soil moist and more resistant to floods, fires, and droughts. The canopy also blocks the sun rays, and whenever deforestation occurs, trees are cut down and the canopy is ruined, therefore affecting the trees and soil around it. Without the protection of the canopy, and without the trees blocking the rays, the environment can get hotter, the soil can dry up, and therefore causing more hazard to the environment around us. But when the process of deforestation occurs, it adds 15% of the carbon dioxide that trees take in back into the environment. That's more carbon than most vehicles in the modern day emit from today. Not only does deforestation affect plant and animal life, it also affects the indigenous people that live around the forest areas. Whenever the process of deforestation occurs, it most likely will result in the loss of habitat for millions of species that live in the forest. Those species are heavily relied on by the indigenous people. Without those species, that directly affects the indigenous people's way of life, as they may struggle. And also, before the process of deforestation even occurs, they might be forced to leave the area for a short period of time while that takes place. And that can take a very hazardous toll for their tribes. In addition to that, deforestation costs about $4.5 trillion each year. For example, half of all pharmaceuticals come from genetic resources. So that $4.5 trillion is being lost in the loss of biodiversity. So not only does deforestation cause environmental effects on plant, animal, and human life, the process costs trillions each year, which makes it obviously not worth it. So it is quite obvious that a solution is needed for the problem. Although there are short-term benefits, such as companies expanding and maybe building a grocery store wherever you live near in your local forest, but the long-term problems are much worse. There are many great solutions for this problem, but I feel the most effective one is ecoforestry. Ecoforestry is the act of cautiously selecting trees which are strategically cut down in the safest way, in the safest manner possible. This also ties in directly to the laws and regulations that can be applied on the process of deforestation. As the government can regulate deforestation in a way to where it can still happen, so companies can still expand, but they can limit it to where it will not cause near as much effect on the environment as it has in the recent past. If we apply these solutions and take into consideration the effect of deforestation, then we can improve our environment for the better, not only today in the short run, but in the long run as well. With deforestation limited and these solutions being implied, it will greatly benefit not only companies, which will still be able to deforest, but the people that live around them and the indigenous people. It is a win-win for both, and it is also a win for the environment and Earth.